right? I'm going to be going over this banger short I took today, banked under $1,000, just a little bit under $1,000 today, which is pretty sweet. Just going over my thought process. So you can see here, higher time frame. What do we see, right? So we see last week we ended up mitigating this weekly gap, and off of that weekly gap, we've just been creating this huge expansion like towards the upside, right? So coming in the day, I obviously did not want to short this, especially with NQ trading so close to all-time high, but today was really weird because if you look at ES at the same time, let me just do this. If you look at ES at the same time, it's actually trading a lot lower than NQ, right? What we can see here in ES is ES came up, swept out this all-time high right here, and then starts displacing lower, displacing very strongly through these hourly imbalances, right? So what do we see on ES down below? We see ES on the hourly edged out this new week opening gap right here, creating relative equal lows with the new week opening gap. And pretty much leading down to that, ES really didn't have any significant draws of sell side. We kind of just had this like built up higher time frame LR right here, and we were opening gaps towards the upside. So coming into market open, I was neutral, and NQ looked a bit like the same thing. If I go back to replay, and oh my god, dude, the trading view replay is absolutely garbage. And I go to the 4-hour right here. You can see that NQ is a 4-hour below. So I had two scenarios for today. Scenario one was I see price respect these hourly imbalances right here in NQ, right? Yes, just kind of delivers off of nothing, and we just rip up, taking the all-time high, and I did not want to see this at all today because I'm probably not going to trade if this happens. Maybe we open up some sort of sponsored gap, come up, take out the all-time high, and I'm able to get a trade, right? My other scenario was we just start completely disrespecting these hourly imbalances and we start trading towards this 4-hour gap. So the idea here is ES is trading low enough to the point where I wanted to see it mitigate this new week opening gap. And my idea coming in the day was I could catch a long if ES, well, I could kind of play both sides, right? I could catch a long if we dump straight down, NQ mitigates the 4-hour and ES takes that NWOG low, or the NWOG high, I should say, and those relative equal lows down there. I could catch a long sort of mech, higher probability since we're at all-time highs. But coming in the day overall, I was neutral. I just want to see what market open did. Okay, so right here we have market open on NQ, and you can see right at market open, we just start absolutely dumping towards that 4-hour gap. We have like these kind of like 15-minute intermediate lows, but I didn't really care about any of these. Like we didn't really have any extreme higher time frame significant levels. There was no hourly intermediate low, hourly gap. And there was like a 30-minute intermediate low. Where was it? It was right here. So it was the same low, or no, it was somewhere. I don't know. It was, yeah, it was this low right here. We ended up just displacing straight through it. And by this time, we were getting a little bit later, like we were getting close to 10 a.m. sort of. So I just watch price kind of start moving up right here. We create a swing high, and what do I see at this point, right? Let's break it down. So I see price edging a significant drawn liquidity down here, being this unmitigated 4-hour gap, right? And overall, I'm bullish because I don't want to short this huge expansion leg that we've been creating on NQ after tapping this NWOG. I don't want to short this, but I can short it if I short it smartly. So my idea was I was willing to kind of take a continuation short down towards the 4-hour gap because higher time frame, what I wanted to see was us mitigate an imbalance, move down into this 4-hour gap to then distribute us higher to all-time highs, right? So I'm kind of playing both sides, and it's a really good way to look at price at all-time highs, especially when you're creating gaps higher. You're using these gaps higher to ultimately like still contribute to your bullish bias, but you're trading in a short position, if that makes sense. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It makes sense for me. So what do we see, right? We see NQ create this AM swing low right here. And then from there, we kind of just slowly chop up, right? Create all of this low resistance liquidity. And we're just leading up to 10 a.m. So right here, it's 10 a.m. open. What do we do at 10 a.m.? We create this 15-minute gap above. 10 a.m., create that 15-minute gap. What do we do at 10 a.m.? We mitigate that 15-minute gap. But here is the important part. If I go back to ES and I replay, it's 10 a.m. Oh my god. 10 a.m. right here. If I go to ES and I replay it's 10 a.m., you can see ES trading a little bit higher relative to the AM range, kind of rebalancing it a little bit more. ES actually creates this 30-minute gap that's a lot closer than the 15, right? So what do we see? We see NQ hit the 15, and we see ES also trade inside of its 15. Now what do we see? We see ES. Oh, nice. Nice. That's great, bro. Love to see it. All right, what do we see? We see ES move up into that 30-minute gap. Now what do we see NQ do? We see NQ not do that. We see NQ respect this more discounted 15-minute gap, right? But we see that when NQ moves up, mitigates this 15-minute, that's when ES mitigates its 30-minute gap up here. So we get an SMT with this. There we go. SMT. Boom. Look at that. So we have an SMT right there. I didn't like anything down here because there wasn't really like any imbalances, and I didn't, because like how the market moves is like we distribute and then we reaccumulate, and then we get some sort of manipulation, and then we redistribute, right? And what I identified this as, I didn't necessarily identify it as some sort of manipulation until we close below like these lows right here, right? So I wasn't extremely certain, and I didn't get the IFEG that I wanted. There was a 30-second in here that I just wasn't really a big fan of, so I kind of just faded that out and waited. And then over here, I wait. We end up just like moving around like this. Oh yeah, here it is. Fuck, my bad. Okay, so what do we do right here? So if I move the bar to 10:15, okay. So what do we do? 10:15 opens up. The 10:15 candle opens up what? We open up a 5-minute sponsored gap right above. 5 minutes. Boom. 5 minute. So we see 10:15 open, and then what does it do? It generates LR. It opens high, and now we're anticipating a low close. But if you look at ES at the exact same time, if we go to ES, you can see this is the exact same high. This is the 10:04 high, this swing high up here. ES actually ends up re-sweeping the high, getting us a stop rate. So what we see right now, we're seeing a stacked PO3, right? We're seeing 10:15 open up, distribute into a sponsored imbalance, and then we see ES get our stop rate at this high right here, put an SMT inside of that sponsored imbalance to then deliver us down, completing an open high, low close with the 50-minute or with 10:15 candle, right? So right here we have this fair value gap, and all I was looking to see was per price just to kind of rip through straight through this fair value gap, and we end up trading above it for a little second, and we get this huge displacing candle, which I absolutely loved so much. That was really just the cherry on top for this trade. I just targeted a 1-to-1. I was at this swing. I targeted a 1-to-1. This was set as in like an area I would watch price. I didn't want to go break even because if I play it out in the trade here, you can see we created a huge 1-minute gap like right above my break even. And I was like fully confident like if we sweep this out, like odds are that we come up, tap this 1 minute, and then we move lower. And I'm not trying to get like unnecessary break even. So what I did instead was I ended up just lowering my risk right here, because if we end up moving past this gap right here, then the trade is done. Like the idea is wrong, and we're coming up to resweep this high right here. So you see right here is we end up just immediately going straight to take profit, and we end up dumping towards that 4-hour gap, and then we end up starting to move back up. We end up chopping the rest of the session, which is unfortunate, but ES also mitigates the NWOG. If I show you right here at the same time, ES mitigates NWOG right here. So pretty cool, great trade today. Pretty textbook setup. Stacked PO3, 10:15 delivering into that sponsored 5-minute imbalance. ES giving us that SMT with this 30-minute intermediate high on ES, 15-minute intermediate high on NQ, and then we kind of just have LR leading towards the target down here. We have this nice swing right here to kind of monitor what price does, and very clean structure today. So yeah.